really. Yeah, really, you know.
First of all, we in our group in OET Futureland, um, I would like to thank really Ms. Sara Hassanein for giving us a chance today to be with us.
My
Um,
pleasure, really.
Ms. Sara Hassanein really support me during my journey through the IELTS, and really she gave me a lot of advice, and that reflect on my performance in the OET.
Oh my gosh, you know, my honor, really. Thank you so much for all your, you know, nice words.
Yeah, and I really thank her for all the support she did for me. So today she will, Ms. Sarah, really, she will explain for us some grammar tips that I believe it would be helpful for us during the writing and speaking. So I will let the Ms. Sarah to start now. So Ms. Sarah, you have the mic. Please go on.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you guys really for being over here, and it's really my pleasure to teach you today, inshallah. Hopefully that you will find the class useful and enjoyable also at the same time, inshallah, just to help you achieve a higher score, right, in your OET exam, in which you have to work on lots of things, definitely, right? And one of them is grammar, cohesion, and punctuation. And for this reason, I am going to teach you all of them today, and some tips, of course, will help you, inshallah, to get a high score in these three, actually, things. For grammar, you do need today to work on the idea of knowing the tenses, right? You can never go for your test without knowing the difference between the present simple and the present continuous, the future and the other tenses, right? In order to have correct tenses, right? During your own writing in the letter, right? The referral letter. And the cohesion is just to make your sentences connected together with the use of the cohesive devices, just like moreover, furthermore, in addition. So we will talk about this, of course, in detail. And finally, punctuation. Need to know when you have to put the stop and all such a stuff of things. So let's just start with grammar, right? The tenses that I told you about. So you just need to know the basics ones, right? The basic tenses. Number one is definitely the present simple, right? Which simply reflects habits or facts. Something like he works, right? That is a fact about his own life. He plays football every Saturday. So that is a habit that he does. So I use the simple to express the habits in facts too. And how to form the present simple? Usually, once you have he, she, or it, just put an S to the verb, right? And if you have I, we, they, and you, no need for this S. You just only use the verb as it is, right? Will be something like the base form of the verb, or sometimes we call it an infinitive. That's the form, or this is how to form the present simple. And for the example, all right, you just something like here. Sorry, I just wrote this one by mistake. Let me edit it. Here's supposed to be the example, and then the last one is the negative form. So these are examples, as you can see. And in order to use negative form, just only use do not or does not. Does not is actually with he, she, and it. You can write notes. If I'm adding something to this slide, you can write notes to not to forget. Simply, does not should be used with he, she, or it. But do not should be used with I, we, they, and you, right? And that is different than the present continuous. Totally different. Because the present continuous is talking actions that are happening right now, right? So that is not like the fact. And the form is am, is, on, are, plus verb, plus ing, just like he is they are working, and just only if you need to go for the negative form, you will only add not. So instead of I'm working, I will just tell I am not working. So these are basic things, and I guess all of you actually know them, but the issue that it is not enough to know them. It is important to know the difference. I guess that is the most important thing that you have to know. Not only the form and the negative form, and that's it. So just need to know the difference. And I will show you actually one of the mistakes which have, yes, question? Do you have a question? I've just heard something. Okay, nothing. Fine, back to the point. I will just show you from one example that I will write for you right now. I will show you how this one is a faulty sentence. Something like, I playing. This sentence actually is faulty. And imagine that it is considered one of the common mistakes ever in grammar. So somebody might write I playing, but faulty one. Simply, if you want to make it as a correct one, you just need to say I play, right? Or I am playing. But you can never tell I playing, right? That is a really 41. And even I play and I am playing, you have to know the difference. Right? When do I have to correct my mistake, this mistake? How can I decide that I will correct it by telling I play? And how can I decide that I'm not going to correct it by telling I play? I'm going to correct it by telling I am playing. So even these two are not the same actually, because once I tell I play football, let's say, this means that is a present simple one, right? As you can see, and it tells about a habit. It means that this is my habit, that I play football every Saturday. So every Saturday I do the same things. You got my point, guys. But the difference between this one and the second one, as you can see, the ing form, which is the present continuous, the second tense in the list here, the present continuous. It refers to what? When I tell I am playing right now, this means that this action is happening right now. And somehow temporary, right? It's not continuous, by the way. It's not forever. It's temporary. I'm playing right now, and just after a couple of hours, I'll stop playing. Just like now, I am teaching you OET grammar right now, right? But just like after a couple of hours, I will do something else. So I can't tell you that now I teach you. No, I have to tell I am teaching you, because it is a temporary action. But the first one, which is the present simple, it is a habit, and you can see how it is somehow permanent, because that is my habit. I always do this, or I every Saturday do this. That is the main difference between the present simple and the present continuous one, as you can see. So know the form, but also know the difference, right? In order to be able to tackle well within your exam. And then let's move to the third one, the past simple one. Simply, as you know, the past is just only to talk about something which happened, right, in the past. And in order to form it, you just need to put to the verb ed. Okay, wait a second. I want to get spotlight. Here it is. You have to put ed to the verb, right? Just like I worked, as you can see. I finished. I played. Ed to the verb. But as not always. Some of the verbs are irregular. Irregular means that they do not follow the rule of the ed. They change, like the word go. In order to make the word go as being a past one, you have to change it to be went, because go is one of the irregular verbs. So the question here is, what are the irregular verbs? There are many, just like more than 200 irregular verbs. But just, you can, if you Google them, write irregular verbs list, you can find many, and you can try to study them, because they are important, right? Of course, important to verb. And in the negative form, both the regular ones with the ed and even the irregular ones do take the same things. They take what they did not in order to make it is a negative one. So I worked in the negative one will be I didn't work. You can notice here the verb. The verb is without ed. Why? Because there is a rule which says that after did not, you have to use the infinitive, right? Never put ed, s, ing, or anything to the verb over here. And at the same case, went, in order to make it as a negative one, you just need to put not and then change the word went to be the infinitive, the base form of the verb. So it will be go only, right? I can see. So did not plus infinitive is the negative form. And actually did not can be used with all, not can, actually it is used with all of the pronouns, I, he, she, it, we, they, and all of them, right? And that is the case. And for the past continuous, you can see continuous, right? This means that it refers to continuous actions at a specific time in the past. And in order to format, just was or were plus verb ing. And definitely was should be used with I, he, she, and it. But where should be used with you, we, they, and you, right? Plus verb ing. Something like I was working. They were working, right? And in order to make it negative, it's the simplest thing ever. Just only add not, right? Similar to am is are. If you want to make am is are in the negative form, you will add for was or were. You will simply put not in order to make it as a negative one. So something like continuous, something like when you, for example, called me yesterday, I was cooking, right? I was cooking means that I was cooking at that time when you called me. So the action took some time in the past. Clear so far, guys, or what? Just feel free, please, to ask. If you have any questions, you can put it there in the chat box, or you can unmute, right? Of course, to ask me any question, feel free, please, right? So back again to the future. How about the future? We finished the present, simple and continuous, past simple and continuous also. And try to make, that much of comparison to be able to study it well. I mean, there is a big comparison or a similarity which you can tell here between the present continuous and the past continuous, let's say. The comparison here or the similarity here is both of them with verb plus ing, right? But here verb to be in the present and an are, but on the other side, verb to be in the past, which is was and were, because was and were is simply the past of am, is, and are, right? And then the future for things which will happen in the future, right? Will plus infinitive. Like I will work, right? They will work. I will not work. Of course, for the negative, you will just only add not, simply. And don't forget the infinitive. Don't just tell I will works. Yes, no, never. There should be no S with the verb. So let me just show you also one mistake I really can remember. While marking, I usually some kind of common mistakes which I always see. So it's a good idea to share with you just to avoid these mistakes, right? So a mistake like he was play. So here it gives no sense, right? He was play. So how can I fix this? What do you think, guys? What are the two options of fixing this one? You can write in the chat box. Yes, thank you. You know, if you tell he was played, so this is another mistake, imagine. So both of them are mistakes. In order to fix them, they are as you wrote here in the chat box. Yes, in order to fix it, you need to tell he played, right? He played. That's past simple. He played football yesterday with his friends. Or you can tell he was playing football. That was continuous for some time at the time of speaking. Like he was playing when I called him, right? At that time, he was playing. So I have to tell this or that. So simply, how can I correct he was played? That's the question. Look, he was played here. Verb to be plus past participle is something else which is called passive. You know, like what? Just like football was played. So now it's okay because this is passive structure. Look, football here is not the one which played this, right? It was played, you know, receiving the action, not doing the action. It didn't do this one, it received the action itself. That's the passive form, if you know it, you know, مبني للمجهول. That's the passive one. That the subject here, or football here, is just was played. لعبت, right? It's not يلعب. شو هو اللعب مثلا؟ لا هي لعبت or whatever you can call it in Arabic. Fine, so that is the passive one. But once I tell I was played, no, this means that no, never. This one is a faulty one. In order to use was played, you need to have, you know, as you can see, was, then past participle is the passive form, right? We can have, you know, a full class about the passive form because the passive structure, you know, has lots of rules. So for now, just remember that you play or I was playing, right? It depends on your own meaning of the sentence, right? But never tell I was played. That is the and usually once you have am, is, and are, the rule says that after am, is, or are, was, or were, after these ones, which are verb to be, right? You must have either verb plus ing for the continuous, right? Or you can have noun, not a verb. Like I can tell I was busy. No, not busy. Busy is an adjective. Sorry. I was, let's say, a translator. I was a translator long time ago. So translator is a noun. So I can have a noun of verb to be. Or I can have an adjective, like what I told you. I was busy. Was busy means that after verb to be, I could use the adjective, right? Here it is. So verb to be, or a noun, or an adjective. Or a verb plus, verb plus participle in the passive form. But I told you, don't confuse yourself now with the passive structure. So these are the things which should be there, guys. But never tell something like, I am play. This is totally wrong, right? Right? Because the word play is a verb. So to the ing form if the subject is doing the action, right? So that is the rule. Okay, that is the thing that you were asking about. Let's move. Okay. How about present The present perfect is for something, right, or an action that happened in an unspecific time in the past, right? That he has worked. Didn't tell exactly at what time he has worked, right? This action happened in the past, but it happened in an unspecific time. Something like, I can tell you, I have finished my homework, let's say. So I didn't tell when exactly, because simply if you when exactly you did this in the past, so you need to use the past simple. Something like, I did my homework last week. So if I specified the time in the past, so use the past simple. But for here, if this thing happened in the past, but the time is not mentioned, I didn't mention specifically at what time in the past, so that's the present perfect one, right? And we form it by just only has or have plus past participle. Has is used with he, she, and it. Have is used with I, we, they, and you, right? Plus past participle, the third form of the verb. Like he has worked for 10 years, as you can see. And in order to make it negative, you will just only add not. He has not worked for 10 years. And they always tell that the perfect is just connected to the present. Connected to the present in what way? Like, for example, you can tell the internet has become popular, right? So has become popular, this means that it became popular in the past, and this has really a connection to the present, has a relationship to the present, because until now we are experiencing the effect. That's why it is connected to the present, right? And it gives also a longer lasting actions. It's not something which is temporary. No, somehow it's a long lasting one. As you can see here, he has worked for 10 years. See the duration itself is long. And that is actually a big difference between the present perfect and the present perfect continuous. Because for the present perfect continuous, if you check here in the last one, that the actions started also in the past, but it continues, right, to the present time, and the situation is temporary somehow. It's not very permanent like the present perfect. Like what? Like here, I have been reading for 40 minutes. You know, the 40 minutes is something which is somehow temporary, right? Not like the long lasting one, the present perfect one. So simply, I can never tell I have been marrying for 10 years, for example, right? So because 10 years is something which is long. So how can I tell? I will write this example for you to concentrate with me. I've been marrying for 10 years. Imagine. So how can I do this? How can I tell this? No, this is absolutely wrong. Because present perfect continuous is for something which is temporary, not a continuous one, or not a long-lasting one. So in order to fix this one, use the present perfect. Use I have worked. Sorry, I have I have married for 10 years. Now it's okay, right? That's the big difference. Always know that the present perfect is somehow long lasting, but the present perfect continuous is temporary. That's the big difference. So if you know this difference, then you will start not to get mistakes with, you know, mixing them together or getting confused between what do I have to tell here, present perfect or the present perfect continuous. So bear this in mind. And the difference even is so clear in the form, right? For the form here, the present perfect, as I've told you, just only has or have. right? But for here, has or have plus been, plus verb plus ing. So because it is continuous, and as we know that once we have continuous thing, that we add verb plus ing. And we add also been over here, has or have plus been, and it is been, by the way, it's not been, okay, because that's one of the common mistakes in pronunciation, so it's called been. So has or have plus been plus verb plus ing. Like 40 minutes up till now, right? And I'm still doing so. I have started to read and I'm still doing so because it continues to the present time. I can tell you that I've been teaching you for 40 minutes or for 20 minutes or whatever. This means that I started teaching you and I still continue teaching you up till now, right? That is the issue. And to make it negative, just only add not, right? So these are all the tenses, right? Not all the tenses, honestly, but these are the basic tenses, right? That you need to know. Very important to cover them all, to know the differences between them and to avoid the mistakes. So as I told you, the mistakes are always with the difference between the present perfect and the present perfect continuous. This is what I noticed. And I also noticed that a lot of people are confusing with the verb to be, especially am is on are, what is the verb after am is are, and so on. I mean, the difference between the present perfect, the present simple one, and the same case for the past and past continuous. So revise them, please, in order to cover this issue of the tenses. Let's move to another thing. Complex sentences, right? You can know the tenses and you are able to write, but your sentences are simple. And if your sentences are simple, then you can never get a high score, because it's not enough to know the simple tenses or the simple sentences. No, you just need to have a complexity, right, in the way you write. So if you only write, I play football, that's it, then this is a simple sentence. Very short one, as you can see. Some of your sentences can be simple in your own letter. It's fine, right? But not all. At least the majority of your sentences should be complex. Complex means two sentences together, not only one. The simple one is only one sentence, but the complex one is just two sentences together. Something like, I played football, right? However, I hate, let's say, basketball or whatever. So you can see here how they are two sentences together. So how can we form, right? That's the question here. How can we form the complex sentences? There are two main basic rules, really, for forming the complex sentence. Number one is just by using relative pronouns. Like what? Like who, whom, whose, which, when, and where. And these actually relative Okay, so back again to the point, guys. The idea of forming a compound sentence, not for this, a complex sentence, right? Yes, the relative pronouns. These are the ones which I've talked about. The idea of having who in between the sentences to form a complex sentence. And these ones are not questions, they are relative pronouns, right? Who here means الذي or التي. Whom gives the same meaning. Which is also التي. When عندما, where, حيثما. So you have to know first the difference, right? Before telling you the difference, let's look at these examples. The government will cut the prices of train tickets, which will make transport more affordable, as you can see. So, which here refers to itself. So, which is used, as you can see, with objects, right? Not humans. And you can see here ikama. Why do he put ikama? Why do I have to put ikama? Because simply if your own relative clause, all this one is called relative clause, and which is called a relative pronoun. So once you find out that the relative clause is a non-defining one, I mean this one gives extra information, right? It doesn't give a very necessary piece of information in the sentence, right? It's only extra. If it's extra, so put comma to separate this one from your sentence. It's like only an extra one, not like the coming one. Look at the second example. People who have smoking parents are more likely to smoke. So again, this relative why? Because the relative clause here gives a very important piece of information, right? In the sentence. Can I tell people are more likely to smoke in general? No. I just need to specify. I am talking about people who have smoking parents only. So because of it's necessary, right? Because of being necessary in my sentence, I didn't put any commas. Otherwise, I would a comma before it and a comma after it, right? To separate it from my sentence. And only one comma if I end up my sentence. So I put one comma before and a full stop at the end. So what are the differences again? How can I use them in my sentence? The word who is always used with people. The issue that whom is also used with people and whose is also used with people. But you have to know the differences in order to not get confused while using them. Who is used with people, yes, but after whom should be a verb. Not like whom. But you need to follow whom, not with a verb, but with a sentence. This one with people also, but there should be a sentence, not a verb. So let me show you one example of this. Like for example, the man who studies English, right, is, for example, perfect or whatever. Got it? So as you can see, whom is followed by a verb. But how about whom? Big difference. The man, or let me just show you one thing. This is the man whom I teach. So what is after whom? After whom, there is a sentence, subject plus verb, not only a verb like whom. That's the difference. Okay, yes, right, but not preferable, not to the way of being preferable or no, but it is not very common, I can tell you the truth. The use of whom, not very common. But of course, you do need to know the difference, right? Because, of course, in English. And how about whose? Whose is also with people, but the that after whose should be something or even a person that you possess. So it's a kind of possession. Like what? Like the man whose car is black, let's say, had an accident there. So whose car? The car actually is the possession of the man. That's why I said whose car. So all of them are followed or are used with people, but it really depends on the difference between, of course, each one of them. So that is the issue. And simply the others are, I guess they are simple. I mean, which is always with subject only, when it's of course with the time, where is used with place, right? So of course, sorry, yes. So please keep that in your notes. So use them and use them correctly, right? And include them. Never have like a full letter without having one relative clause, let's say. That's a fatal mistake. You just need to show to the examiner that you are having a valid sentence structure. Then let's move. What is the other way? Because the relative clauses are not only the way to make complex sentences. We can also use the subordinating conjunctions, right? We can use after, before, all these ones, when, while, although. There are many, there are around 30. Yes, you have a question? Yes, I've heard something. Okay. So back to the point. The subordinating conjunctions, right? They are around 30. At the end of this PowerPoint presentation, I included them like in a list, so you can know what are the subordinating conjunctions. So include, if condition were writing, include although. Of course, you're not going to include all the 30 ones, but at least you have to get some of them while writing. So including them in your sentence makes your sentence a complex one, because simply once you have one of them, then you're not having only one sentence, you are having two. Something like, when a city is polluted, its people suffer from viral diseases. You can notice here the comma in between. There's an important rule for the punctuation mark. I will let you know the rule right now. Even at the second example, while people who live abroad face some difficulties, they can also benefit from improved job prospects. So again, there is a comma in between the two sentences. And the final one, traffic problems will continue unless the government imposes congestion charge. So unless is in the middle, and there's no comma at all. So from these examples, I guess you can get the rule of punctuating, right? The subordinated conjunctions. In order to punctuate them, simply if you have one of these subordinated conjunctions in the middle, so put a comma. If you have one of them in the beginning, so put a comma in the middle, right? This is not only when or while or if, no, for all the subordinated conjunctions, which you need to know them, right? You are going to know them all at first, but believe me, after trying your best to use them writing, you will start to have your own subordinated conjunctions, because usually you're not going to use the 30 ones, but you just need to know them first. All the 30, know them, and then you will start to have from each group just two, for example, are fair enough. I mean, the word while, although, whereas are the same. So why do I have to study all of them, right? I would start to have, let's say, two of them. I would start to have some of them which I usually use. So that is the issue. So the rule here says that if the subordinating one, I will write subordinator, okay, in the beginning, then there should be a sentence over there, then a comma in the middle, then another sentence. That is, but once I put the subordinator in the middle, so you can notice that there is a sentence before this, and then subordinate in the middle, then there is another sentence. And no need for this comma before the subordinator or after, nothing, no commas at all. Just have put them in the middle. That is the issue. That is the punctuation mark, right, in regard to the use of subordinating conjunctions. Okay, these are the two ways, right, of forming complex sentences. Then how about the other things? Wait a second, I will erase this to move. Here it is. How about the compound sentence? Is the compound sentence is the same as the complex one or no? Compound is similar in the meaning. Compound means complex also. It contains more than one sentence. But the only difference is that compound sentence does not have subordinating conjunctions. And actually the compound sentences do not have relative clauses. The compound sentences do a coordinator, right? We call them coordinators, or sometimes we call them fanboys. Fanboys because each letter refers to one word. F is for right? A for and, N for nor, B for but, O for or, Y for yet, and lastly, S is for so. So once you have coordinators in your sentence, then now you're having a compound sentence. So in your exam, you just need only to use the complex sentences. No, you are going to mix both the compound and complex in your sentence. So know the punctuation marks, of course, and the meanings of them. Once you have one of them in the middle, followed by a sentence, then there should be a comma. Otherwise, no commas, right? There will be no comma if I don't have a sentence like this. But once I have they is a subject, that will be more knowledgeable. As you can see, that is a full sentence. So for this reason, I included a comma before the coordinator. And that's the same case for and, nor, but, yet, all of them. Once you have one of them in the middle in formal writing. Once you have them in the middle, follow them or put a comma before them if they are followed by a sentence. Otherwise, there's no comma. The second way for forming a compound sentence is by the use of conjunctive adverbs. What are they? They are around, again, like 20, 30 something. There are many. However, furthermore, therefore, many are there. And I will, of course, show you right now, a list of them. I included a long list for all the conjunctive adverbs for you to know. So look here, the festival was to be held today. However, it was cancelled due to the rainy weather. So look at this semicolon. Because of the colon and because of the use of conjunctive adverbs in the middle, you are having a complex sentence. Okay, so once you have any of the conjunctive adverbs in the middle, I'm sorry, I hear noise. If you can mute the mics, I'll be grateful. the rule says actually that you can use one of the conjunctive adverb in the middle with the semicolon just once, twice, but don't overuse them in the middle, because they are also can be used in the beginning. So for this reason, you just need to know when do I have to put a semicolon, when I can use them with the top, because they have 3 rules, honestly, 3 rules for punctuating the conjunctive adverbs. Rule number 1 is just by having them at the beginning, right? Something like the festival was to be held, right? The same sentence. Then full stop. However, I started a new sentence. Then comma. It was cancelled. So the festival was to be held. That is the sentence. Then there is a full stop. Then another sentence is there. So as you can see, put a full stop before a conjunctive adverb and a comma after it. Full, right, in the beginning. The same exact sentence I can use in the middle. That is, sorry. Oops. I can use in the middle, right, with the semicolon. So the difference is that one with full stop and the other one with the semicolon, right? That is the only difference. However, it was cancelled. So, can you see? How can I make it in the middle of the sentence? I will simply erase this full stop and put a semicolon before it. That, and of course, make this uppercase one to be a lowercase one. That is the rule. Then the last rule says that we can have however in the middle too, but we can have it not between 2 sentences, because as you can see here, the festival was to be held. It was cancelled. As you can see, 2 complete sentences. So if you have 2 complete sentences, I have them semicolon and the comma and so on. But what if I have this one in the middle, but not between 2 sentences? No, only within 1 sentence. Something like the festival, the same one, was to be held. Then, however, can you see? It, however, was cancelled. I put the conjunctive adverb in the middle of what? It is in the middle between the subject and the verb. So this one, you know, like interruption for my sentence. So because interruption for my same sentence, that's why I didn't put the semicolon, because I'm not going to complete with 1 more sentence. I just only put 2 commas just to separate this one. No, there's extra in the middle. So these are the 3 ways of punctuating the conjunctive adverbs. So I guess you can write in your notes that the first one is between 2 sentences, as you can see, but the conjunctive adverb is in the beginning of the sentence, right? That's why we put the comma, right? I guess you have a question. The comma and then the comma. Yeah, sure. I will explain it once more, Rihab. Look, let me just tell you all of them all together once more. Look, the festival was to be held. However, it was cancelled. Are again, but the 2 sentences are separate. That's why the first one I ended it up by a full stop, right? Then I started a new sentence with however, then there should be a comma after it. But the second one, I am having 2 sentences, but I'm not going to start a new sentence. No, I just need to connect them together. I need the sentence a compound one. So for this reason, you will replace the full stop with the semicolon. That's as simple as this piece of cake, right? Then lastly, the festival was to be held. It, however, was cancelled. This is what you were asking about. Look, here, however, is in the same sentence, right? It was cancelled is the subject, was cancelled is the verb. So the one in between is only an interruption for my same sentence. For this reason, don't put any semicolon, just put 2 commas to separate this cohesive devices, right, from your sentence. You know, we have the same in Arabic. We do have the الجملة الاعتراضية, right? So this here. So this one is again interrupting your sentence. So for this reason, you just put 2 commas, right? So it is clear for you now, Dr. Hab. Okay, great. And it's clear also for all of you guys. It seems to be clear. Okay, perfect. So in your writing, you will mix them, right? You're not going to have only compound sentences or only complex sentences. You will just mix them together to have the most complex one ever, because you need to show to your examiner your ability to have an advanced level of language. So how can you prove this? You prove it by mixing the compound and complex sentences together. This can be seen here in these sentences, right? So as to is one of the subordinating conjunctions, and is one of the fanboys. So altogether, this one is called a compound complex sentence because it has both, right? And the same case for the second example. You have or and we have so that. And then the last we have in order to and we have and. So look how the sentences themselves are complex. They are not only simple ones. So remember, please include them. And understanding the meanings of them, of course, is important, right? So for this reason, I put them all together in a list. The fanboys, you know them, right? And but so as I told you earlier, how about the subordinating conjunctions? These are the subordinating conjunctions. These are not all of them, but these are the most common ones. You don't need actually to know more than this. That is fair enough. And know the meaning of each one of them, right? And I included already examples for you to understand how can we use each one. As you can see here, you have a quick look if you have any question. As I told you earlier, once we have subordinated conjunctions, we do need to have a comma if they come in the beginning only, right? But if they come in the middle, there's no comma at all. And this is very shown here in these examples, right? Nothing, no commas over there. But for the if in the beginning, there is a comma in the middle, right? That is the thing. Okay. I just need to comment on as well as, because lots of fakes really in regards to as well as. Look, when you use as well as, it has somehow a special. Once you have it, as well as first, it means and. It gives the same meaning as and. Know them both because you can't repeat all the time and all of the way around. No, you just need to use and, besides, as well as, just to try not only but also try to of course vary in the use connectors, because if you repeat the same exact connectors you are using, then you're not going to get a higher score. So try to vary. And of course there's no problem with the use of and. You can have it 2 times, 3 times within your writing. But if you have a chance to create one more, like as well as, this can show a good impression about your language. So use as well as correctly, because it has special rules. It is not followed by a sentence. Imagine no full sentence after as well as, never. As well as should be followed by either a noun or infinitive. That's the case. Or noun of course, or verb plus ing, right? Both. Like what? Like here, like I can tell that this is important for communication. Then instead of telling and something, I can tell as well as social skill or whatever, fine. So you can see here, social skills is the noun. So after as well as, I use the noun social skills, right? I can also have verb plus ing, it's fine. And sometimes I must have an infinitive as well as. So when is this case? If you have an infinitive before as well as, then you must have an infinitive again after as well as. Like what? Like here, like he, for example, likes to play well as listen to music. Let's see. So play is the verb, right? Infinitive. Of course, it is an infinitive because there's two, and two is followed by an infinitive. As well as is listen, again, another infinitive because you have here an infinitive, so you must follow as well as with an infinitive. But otherwise, as well as most of the time, right, is following either a verb plus ing or a noun. Only think about the infinitive if it is preceded by an infinitive. Got it? So I will put it to you for you here to write notes quickly or take a screenshot, right? And this is the list of the conjunctive adverbs. Like besides, consequently, moreover, and in order to be able to study them well or to remember them, group them. Like the ones which are similar in meaning, have them together. Like for adding information, you must know moreover, furthermore, besides, right? For giving opposite information, you can have on the other hand, on the contrary, nonetheless. So just the similar ones, you can put them together just to to help yourself know them, right? That's all. So we've finished the tenses, right? And the complexity of your language using complex sentences, using the pronouns in a sentence, subordinating conjunctions, the compound ones in which you will use fanboys along with the conjunctive adverbs, right? Just to vary as much as you can in your sentences. So do you have any question, or you just need me to repeat any part of the things which I've covered? Please feel free, or even if you need to ask me about any other thing which is like disturbing you in your language progress, just let me know. Please feel free to ask. Any questions, inquiries? Look, besides is in the beginning of the sentence, right? If it is in the beginning, put a comma after it and full stop after it. Full stop before it. If it is in the middle, so think about the semicolon or the comma, because besides takes the same rules which I have told you about having conjunctive adverbs, like how the same rules of however which I have told you earlier, the 3 rules of using the conjunctive adverbs. Okay, so besides, you can use it to add information similar to moreover. Like for example, you can tell she teaches IELTS, let's say, then full stop, besides she is able to whatever, to translate or whatever. If you need, besides means that you need to add one more piece of information, right? And punctuating them, or the one that I told you about in this slide. Let me show you. Yes, if you remember this slide. Any other thing, guys? Here it is, yes. Here it is. Yeah, conjunctive in the middle, right? So this is suffering. Look, for a patient, if you're talking about a patient, then you said he's been suffering from DM since 2000. Yeah, because a long duration, right? He started suffering in this 2000, right? Up till now, until 2018. So as you can see, a continuous one, continue until the present time. Okay, guys, any more questions? Sorry, I just thought that you meant he has suffered. sorry. No, of course you need to tell he has suffered. Okay, I just read it by mistake. So he has suffered, of course, for the long duration. No difference, please, between he has suffered and he has suffering, right? A big difference. If, for example, for me, I can never tell you I have been working for teaching IELTS for 10 years. No, this doesn't give sense, right? I've been working for 10 years. But it's a long duration, so I need to tell you I have worked, right? I've worked as an IELTS instructor for 10 years now. Got my point? Okay, great. And look, Dr. Munira, the word besides is not like the word beside. With S is not like beside without S. Know the difference, please. Because besides with an S means in addition, but beside without an S means next to something, beside something, or near something. So please, if you need the one which shows the addition, so of course use besides with the S. And how to punctuate them? Wait. Punctuating conjunctive adverbs are all the same. Look, let me give one example for here. Like that. Number one, I can use it in the beginning, right? I can tell that he teaches IELTS. Then besides, he, let's say, translates or whatever. Of course, sentences will not be much simple, but I'm just showing you the rule. Okay, this is the first of punctuating besides. Have a comma after it and a full stop before it. Then how about in the middle? You will replace this full stop with a semicolon. Then beside. Why I put, because it is in the middle, and in the middle between two sentences there should be a semicolon. Number three, that I can have it in the middle of the same sentence, not between two sentences. Like what? Like he, even it for this one if you would like to make it like this, in this way. He besides, comma, translates. So besides what? Besides what I previously mentioned, he besides translates. So this one is interrupting my sentence. So for this reason, I put two commas. So clear now? Okay, as well as is equal to besides in the meaning, but a big difference in the use of them, as well as is not having the same way of the others. It's like you can consider it as an exception, right? Because all of them can be followed by a sentence. Only as well as is not followed by a sentence. And as well as, of course, is one of the subordinating conjunctions, not the conjunctive verbs. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Please ask, Dr. Khalid. Feel free to ask.
No, I'm asking
Yeah,
if
you're
anyone
telling them.
if anyone still
Yeah.
have any more question, because I believe our
Thank you.
session is near to finish
About
now. Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
true.
yeah, and really I appreciate your support today, Ms. Sarah, and I believe all the team here will benefit from all of this
Thank
information,
you.
which will help them really to write a simple letter with a very high level of linguistic whatever, and
Yes,
really
true.
I thank you on behalf of all my team. And sorry guys, because we closed the mic, but just because do not make any disturbance with Sarah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you
Sarah,
so
thanks
much,
so much,
really.
and we'll upload this one for on our YouTube channel, so I believe all
Of
the world
course.
will benefit from it. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Feel free. Thank you. Thank you so much, really,
Thank you, Sarah.
for you, of course, and for all of you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you
Appreciate it.
so much. Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you,
good day. Thank
guys.
you.
Goodbye, guys.
Good night.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys. Happy Ramadan, of
Thank you.
course. Good night.
Yeah.
Yes, inshallah.
And
Thank you.
I wish all the best for the people going for the May exam after 3 days, inshallah. Inshallah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wish all of you the best, inshallah. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Bye-bye. Good night, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.